Ladies and gentlemen, it's Zealand Shannon. He's the greatest football manager of all time. The fans giving him some love before this next Champions League final, which would be his 27th in a row as the manager of Swindon Town. Well, they've gone down early here, and Shannon, he's making those changes that he's known for. One or two changes to really alter the game. He's gone on from bringing one superstar in to bringing another superstar in because he's got a team of superstars. Look at the way he's encouraging his players. Now, some would say he's telling them to get creative, but that's the old school. He's encouraging them. That's the new school of being a football manager. Oh, and he's giving a stern talking to now to one of his players who's come off the pitch. He's really displeased with the fact that he only had a 7.9 compared to the rest of the team that are over 9.0s. That's just the sort of thing that you hate to see. Well, he's making some wonderful tactical changes here. You can see he's going into the 4-2-3-1 gegenpress. It's brilliant stuff. Tactically inspired stuff here from Shannon. And he's won it. It's a championship for Zealand Shannon. His 27th Champions League in a row. A near-run finish. Hey, I might be able to do that in real life. Is Football Manager too easy? Yeah, it is. It is. But it's supposed to be that way. It is supposed to be easier than the real life thing. Right. I mean, it is. If it wasn't, we would all need continental licenses to be able to handle it. But why is this such a big conversation? Why do I get so many messages about, is Football Manager too easy? Because somebody happens to be stomping a league that they feel like they shouldn't be stomping, and they come in and send me a message and they're like, well, Football Manager is way too easy. There are a couple of reasons that Football Manager is easier than it should be. And this is going to be accompanied by a video that talks about why Football Manager might be too hard. Also, I mean, it all depends on how long you've been playing the game, how familiar you are with the game types and those sorts of things. So let's take a closer look at this. Why is Football Manager too easy? Let's take my save as an example, right? We look at the club history of my team, Oriental Dragon, which I've been managing on Twitch the whole year. You can check the link out down in the description. I started in the 3rd tier, soon to be 4th tier of Portugal. We're a semi-professional team. We have no money. Our facilities are actually the worst possible facilities, and I've since been informed that my club in real life has some sort of connection to the Chinese mafia. So, dear leader, get out of here, Pooh Bear. I've been to China, though. I had a good time. Forbidden City, though. I was allowed in. That was a surprise. They should rename it. We've since gone on from that point to now in 2028. We are competing for a spot in the Europa League, which is 3rd best team in the league. We are kind of right next to Gil Vicente. I don't know. But by the time this video comes out, this drama will have played itself out. And if you want to see that sort of thing happen, check out the live channel. It's also linked down in the description. And it's not just VODs anymore. We've actually hired not 1, but 2 editors for the streams in particular. We're cutting down like condensed streams. We are creating season and competition recaps, transfer recaps, player packages like the story of the different players in the team, right? Rundowns of what we're looking to do, different stuff that I'm actually recording, and we're working with both those stream editors who are awesome. Their names are Smug and Gadget, and they are helping us turn the save on Twitch into something that if you can't watch 4 hours of streams every day for 5 days every week, you're still able to keep up with what's happening and then jump into a stream and be like, oh, okay, that guy. Like, you'll jump in and you'll understand why João Silva is a god. You probably already like can see that, but anyways, well, that's something that I'm very excited about. It has nothing to do with Football Manager being too easy or not. What we were able to do over the course of those 7 seasons is identify talent in a way that is just not possible in real life. You have to think about what you're seeing in Football Manager. Now, there are skins that will remove this from the game for you, and that is the ability to identify attributes and the ability to get a clearer picture on potential. Now, I feel like SI and Football Manager is making this more difficult. Scouts are less reliable. Potential is less reliable, it feels like, this year than in past years. But it's still something where we can look at a player and see exactly how good they are at everything in like 2 weeks of trialing, or depending on how good your scout is, a week to a couple of months of scouting. And you know at least whether they're capable of being great or not, right? You don't know exactly a range. You don't have a comfortable assessment of where they're supposed to end up, but you know that this kid's going to be good or this kid's not. And people will say in real life that they know that, but the crux on why Football Manager is a lot easier than real life, and you're able to do something like what we've done with Oriental Dragons in Football Manager, where in real life taking a semi-pro team to the fringe of the Europa League would require a lot more money than we were given at any particular point. That's just because you need to be able to invest in players that you know, and the players that we've identified all over the world in Colombia and Burkina Faso and Angola, right? These guys, you just wouldn't be able to know as much as you do in Football Manager that they're going to be great. And there's some other factors in Football Manager that you can manipulate too. Take Belarus, for example. We were there last year with Bate Borisov, and this is where we start to expand out from FM21 to like Football Manager writ large. We were in Belarus last year. We won the Champions League in 9 years with Bate Borisov. We went from nothing burger to Champions League winners over PSG, penalty shootout, great drama. But look at where Belarus is on a map, and then read a little bit about what's going on in Belarus. That is a more extreme version of what we would have experienced at Oriental Dragon. I had the worst training facilities possible in the game when I was in the top division. Who wants to sign for that club? And more importantly, if you have these good, young, talented players, like I just showed you, like João Silva, right, was on those teams, and Nelson Salazar agreed to sign for those teams. Why do they want to be there? In real life, they would not want to be there. But in Football Manager, you are able to pull various levers when it comes to player dynamics, contract negotiations, timing, being able to sign these just huge 5-year deals to lock everybody in for a long time, that these guys are not able to leave or force their way out or force a release clause into the contract nearly as much as they do in real life. So you're able to identify talent and you're able to see all the attributes of players. You are also able to hold on to a lot of the young stars. Like in Belarus, I held on to 3 different players on the Colombian national team. 3. In Belarus, like before we missed the Champions League, we got knocked out before the group stage. 3 Colombian national team players stayed on that team in Belarus without like full-blown first world infrastructure, playing in a league that sucks eggs. No chance that's happening in real life. So those dynamics in Football Manager do make it easier. Just because it's intentionally made easier so that you don't need some sort of coaching certification to play the game, right? You don't have to know how to set up the cones in training and how to handle the actual talks. They dumb the entire experience down for you. That does not mean that the game is inherently easy, or certainly doesn't mean that the game is inherently too easy. The only people that say the game is too easy are the people that love pain. And there are a lot of people like that. It's the same people that want to manage in Indonesia for some reason. Even though there are a lot of people that watch these videos from Indonesia, in which case, hi, your league sucks, relatively. They're still better than me. And part of that challenge comes in managing what feel like fairly realistic players, like Nelson Salazar here. He's fairly loyal, right? His media handling style is level-headed. You've got all these little hidden attributes and dynamics. So you look at João Silva, we look at the pros and cons. He's very consistent. Football Manager adds in over 10 hidden attributes that include things like adaptability, pressure, controversy, temperament, professionalism, right? You hear me talk about these a lot. Those are designed to make the players feel more real. But I think the main reason that you're able to accomplish all of the things you can in Football Manager, and then you look at real life and you're like, man, they'd never do that in real life. It's because like a computer game that's supposed to be able to run on your toaster laptop is not going to have the capacity to simulate a real human in the way that they think and react. So if you're Pep Guardiola, you have to deal with the fact that Gabby Jesus is bad, right? He cannot score. He's much more talented than me. That is not what I'm saying, but he has like the worst finishing rate analytically in the Premier League, right? You have to deal with the fact that he's bad, but you also have to deal with the fact that he's flair filled, right? He's Brazil personified, or like a Neymar. You have to deal with the fact that he has to go home for his sister's birthday every time. And that if you don't do that, he's going to become a very moody, difficult player to manage. Now, dealing with real people is much harder than dealing with like, well, he's inconsistent and I know that, so his attributes are going to be more variable depending on which day he's playing. If he's playing bad, we'll go ahead and get him off the field. Those sorts of things. Managing real people is the sort of thing that makes somebody like Sir Alex Ferguson a great manager, even though his tactics were relatively pedestrian, because he knew how to manipulate the minds of players to get them all there and committed. The dynamics section in Football Manager is supposed to replicate that, but you can only go so far. And the game is much easier because once you know the right buttons to push, then you can boil each situation down into an equation in your head that you work through shockingly quickly when you've played like 10,000 hours of Football Manager, which is me. Like if I want to improve the morale of every player, I sit them all down and say, I would like to praise your conduct, right? And then you just pat them on the shoulder, praise their conduct, and you have automatically printed improved morale. If you wanted to do something like that in real life, then good. And keeping your players focused and committed is much more difficult in real life than it is in the game. The solution that a lot of people try and pitch to this is something like a difficulty level, where you would go up here to FM and you drop down and you'd be like, I want to go to very hard. I hate that. I hate it so much. I want to burn it with fire. I mean, like, lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt. Throw back to the old internet there. I got you. The difficulty level, it just doesn't fit to me because you choose your difficulty level with what save you want to do in Football Manager. Let's go back to Indonesia. Gotcha. That's the Philippines. Indonesia. If you want to start there with no coaching badges or playing experience in the second division, you are picking an incredibly high level of difficulty for the game. And let's go over here. That's Paris, Eiffel Tower and such. If you start here with PSG, you are picking a very easy difficulty level. That's not a bad thing. What is going to create the most enjoyment for you in the game? You get to pick that difficulty level. And even so, there are people that go out there and make skins where you cannot see the attributes and things like that. Different skins and different databases that can create a new, interesting challenge for you that can up the difficulty, or you can impose it on yourself. Be an Atletico Bilbao somewhere else and say, we can only use players from our youth intake, which in my opinion might just be the hardest thing to do. But there, you've increased your difficulty level tenfold, because if Football Manager tries to make the game any more difficult, it will become completely inaccessible. So the next time you're thinking Football Manager is too easy, start a new save. I have a video on it, which I guess Reese can now put in either corner since I pointed at both. Professional YouTuber. So no, we don't need a difficulty level. And yes, Football Manager is too easy compared to actual management. And there are a couple of things that Football Manager's not going to be able to change that just make it easier than real life. If you don't want that to be there, you can take steps to remove it. Looking forward to making the opposite video of this to continue to show the duality of man. And that will be Is Football Manager Too Hard? I'll see you on the live channel. I'll see you on stream. I'll see you in your dreams.